Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Bulls on Tap. I'm your boy Buzz. I'm joined by my dude Goose, aka Bulls Scripted, and we are here to recap Chicago Bulls loss, the fifth in a row, 126-115 to the Memphis Grizzlies. Before we get into this episode, be sure you're going on tapsportsnet.com for all your Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs. Following us on Twitter at Bulls on Tap. At On Tap Sportsnet, following Goose at Bull Scripted, following me at Buzz on Tap. Anywhere you can listen to podcasts, you can listen to us, so give us a 5-star rating and review because that's cool and tough. We knew it was going to be hard, Goose. After getting the news yesterday that Zach Levine would be out due to the NBA's health and safety protocol rule, we knew it was going to be hard, and we didn't really know how it was going to go. And obviously taking the primary scorer out of our lineup isn't going to be good by any means. But I was just, to be honest with you, I was kind of waiting tonight for the Bulls to actually pull this one out and then people to be on the anti-Zach train. But that didn't happen. That didn't happen at all. So first of all, how are you, my friend? Because I know this has been a really rough 5-game stretch for us. And initial thoughts on this game.
I mean, like most of the season, we played one good half, and that half was good enough to have us tied going into the second half, giving us a chance to be competitive to win this game. And I think we started the year as one of the best third-quarter teams, and to finish the year, we're going to be one of the worst third-quarter teams because we seem to lose it in the third a lot, and we dig ourselves a big enough lead that we can't overcome it in the fourth, no matter how desperate we finally get. So I don't know what happens at halftime. If like Billy just starts like shitting on these guys or something and making them feel like crap, or if he just boosts them up too high and they feel like they're legends at the half, and then they come out and they take everything for granted. I have no idea. Patrick Williams and Lauri Markkanen both struggled tonight, more so Lauri than Pat. We'll at least give Pat the pass here as a rookie who finally got more than 5 touches in a game and showed some aggressiveness. Lauri just simply did not hit his wide open threes tonight, which we needed. Coby White, though, if we can talk about a positive, 27, 7, and 5 with 1 turnover for Coby White. Holy shit, he can still play basketball.
Yeah, that was a positive that I was going to bring up right off the bat before we got into complete and utter depression. Coby White played a pretty good game tonight. 1 turnover, like you said, 27 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds. He played a good game. It's just, obviously, it's never enough because this is where we're at. We're on a 5-game losing streak, and the Bulls just can't seem to put it together. You're competitive for the first half with this team, like you had pointed out initially. And then you come out in the second half, and then you're no longer competitive. You're no longer playing defense. You're no longer being aggressive. Granted, in the third quarter, Goose, they did score 28 points, but they let up 37 points. So the defense wasn't there. Another initial point that you had in your initial thoughts there was the Lauri Markkanen and Pat Williams thing. I was really, I'm not shitting you. I really had it in my head today that Lauri Markkanen was going to try to be aggressive. And I cannot live with the fact that he, out of the 7 shots that he took, Goose, that 6 of them were 3-point field goals.
I didn't even have to look at the box score. I mean, I don't have the full one. I got the condensed one, and I could have told you that 90% at least of the shots came from 3.
I can't accept that. I'm just being honest with you. I can't accept that. And I'm just, like we've said it a million times on this podcast, he's got 1 foot out the door. And he's really playing like he has 1 foot out the door. And that's,
he is mentally on a different team. He's just not physically there yet.
Right. 100%. It's a really good way to put it because, I mean, you're absolutely right. That's what it is. This guy's gone. It's just, he's gone. There's nothing left. And it's unfortunate, in a night where whatever their goal is, whether that's to get into the play-in, that's to get into a playoff seed, whatever their goal is, it's not coming to fruition because they're losing these games. Maybe that is their goal. I highly doubt it. But maybe that's their goal, and they're really playing like it. They're really, really playing like it. The starting lineup tonight was something I kind of wanted to talk about as well, because when I did see the lineup be released by the Chicago Bulls Twitter, you have Kobe White, Garrett Temple, Pat Williams, Daniel Tice, and Nikola Vucevic. There you go. I was a little taken back by that. And do you want to touch on that a little bit? What were your thoughts on that? Did you like it?
I do. I would actually like to see when they come back, they do the same exact thing with Zach Levine at point guard where Kobe was. Put Kobe in the exact same spot with 3 at least average to above average defenders between Zach and Vooch. If you want that to be Thad or you want that to be Tice, pick your poison. But I want more positive defenders on the floor than I do negative ones with Zach and Vooch as defensive lacking all-stars. And I don't want to hate on the big guy that we traded for too soon here, but he's been kind of struggling in terms of an efficient post player big man. I don't think he shot over 40% tonight, and if he did, he barely broke the barrier.
He was 9 for 22 there, Goose, 3 for 7 from downtown.
Okay, so
24, 14, and 6 assists. No turnovers.
Okay, the last time I looked, I think he was like 7 or 18 or 19. So, we need a little bit more out of him, considering where he gets the majority of his shots are in the paint, close to the rim. We need a little bit more efficiency there, if you're asking me, from an all-star big man that you gave up all that for to make a playoff push. I did like the way that him and Kobe played off each other tonight. That was really the only positive that we saw. I mean, Troy Brown Jr., did he miss a shot? Was he 5 for 5 to finish?
He was 5 for 5 to finish in 19 minutes. I'd like to see him get more minutes from here on out.
So, no, I mean, I may not agree with the exact combination that Billy started this game with to finish up with your initial question, but I would like to see Zach, 3 defensive guys, 2 through 4, whether that's, TBJ, Temple, and slide Pat to the 4, like a lot of people are requesting on Twitter. I guess you can start Tice at the 4. Why the fuck can't you move Pat to the 4? So, because my thinking there was, that's a tough sell. At least, Thad, you can tell Lowry, well, he's clearly had a better season than you. He fits better with Vooch. We can justify that. Now you move a 19-year-old there, and you're saying, Lowry, we're not going to give you any minutes, even though Zach Levine's not playing. Well, that might be a tough sell for a guy that's still trying to seek another contract, even though you don't owe him a penny. So, no, I mean, the way Lowry's playing, I don't even know why we have to talk about it anymore. He's gone. I don't expect him to be here. It would be nice to get an empowered, impassioned performance every night from him, but to be realistic, I don't expect that. And maybe it's best for him at this point not to play. From a contract standpoint, why risk an injury for a team that I'm not going to play for, that's not going to pay me, similar to what we're seeing with Lonzo Ball, who knows how serious his hip injury really is. It could really just be a matter of these teams aren't going to pay these guys, so they're not going to play very much, and they're not going to play very well because their future there is just done.
Right, and I mean, the fact that you brought up Lonzo, and I'm going to lead this with another one that I just read from Kurt Henlin, I believe his name is, on Twitter. But the first one I'd like to bring up is that the Pelicans, which we did basically figure was going to happen, they will be looking to sign and trade Lonzo Ball. That is something that they're going to try to do.
The Bulls are going to try to sign and trade Larry Markkinen too.
Right. So, I mean, I don't know how this is going to work. And there is a team. There's an article that was put out on OnTapSportsNet.com today. There was a report that Lauri Markkinen is gaining interest from the San Antonio Spurs. So that's something that you could be looking at as well. Obviously there's a crazy scenario could happen. 3-team, 4, whatever sort of trade can happen. I just figured we should throw that out there. Zach Levine was in an article about how he is possibly not going to sign an extension. I don't know what the truth is behind that. Did you see that article as well?
Yes, and I put a tweet out about it. This is nothing new. This is expected. Zach Levine can only be offered, I believe the article stated, a $104.9 million contract extension this offseason. If Zach Levine decided to wait until he's an unrestricted free agent, he's probably guaranteed over 120, closer to 130. And if Zach has another all-star, all-NBA performance next year, he could even be eligible for the Supermax contract, which I did not know it was possible. I thought it had to be the team that drafted you, but because the Bulls have Zach's bird rights from that trade still, he will be eligible for a Supermax contract if he makes all NBA teams consecutively. So for Zach, there is no reason to sign that extension unless he does not have faith in his body. It does not mean that Zach Levine is leaving. I don't think the Bulls trade 2 firsts for Nikola Vucevic, who has the same agent as Zach Levine, if they felt that he had any inclination of leaving them.
I agree with that sentiment. I definitely agree with that. You know, there's so many questions that are going to be popping around now. I mean, you do, I guess, I feel like we're talking development again. I feel like we're talking about, you know, last year.
Oh, we are. I was actually, before my girlfriend called me on her break, I was screen recording and clipping the clip of Arturas saying that we never want to pick this high in the draft again. When now that is completely the opposite, because we need to pick that high in the draft or we're not picking at all. So we are back to, I guess, wanting the highest percentage possible to get a top 4 pick, have 2 all-stars and a top 4 pick. I mean, that's pretty much consensus on Twitter. What has to happen for the Bulls to ever be a contender on this current timeline is Pat Williams has to be Kawhi Leonard, or we need a top 4 pick.
Could use both. Honest to God.
Yeah, I mean, let's be greedy. Fuck it.
I mean, I sit and I look, and I'm wondering if this is going to benefit Kobe White. I think it will. Obviously, look at the first game without Zach here and him kind of getting the keys to the car a little bit. You know, I'd like to see TBJ play a lot more. I'd like to see, you know, the potential that he has shine through, because I do believe he has a ton of potential. And I really like to see Pat be more aggressive. And that's something, again, that we talked about on the last episode, and something that I'm bringing up here tonight to you is I felt like Pat had a little bit more aggressiveness in his game tonight. I'd like to touch on that and applaud that. But like what Stacey said, you need to turn it up even from there. You need to turn it up a notch. You have Zach Levine gone right now. Pat Williams is the number 4 pick in the 2020 NBA draft. Stars gone. Your team struggles to score sometimes. Figure it out. Be that guy. And I know he's a rookie, and I'm not like gonna, if he doesn't play great games, hey, I'm not gonna throw a big fit about it or anything. I don't want that to be misconstrued, but I'd like to see what he can do at a more aggressive level on the court. And again, it's just.
Do you think that moving him to the power forward enables him to do that more by giving him like a inherent mismatch every possession? Because
I guess it could, Goose.
He is a 3-4.
I guess it could. I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with his tendencies and how he kind of plays the game as well. I think we know he could blow past other small forwards. We've seen him do it. I guess
it doesn't really matter what forward's on him. He can make his move.
Right. He can make his move. He's really good off the dribble, which is something that we've talked about all year. And we were kind of surprised by that, and he can hit the 3 at a decent clip. I just like to see him initiate that more,
The turn towards development, I guess we talked about lineups. If Lowry's out the door, maybe you have that conversation with him like, hey, we're going to shut you down. It doesn't look like we're making a run at this. We're out without Zach for, another 5 games. We just conceded a position in the play-in that we didn't really deserve at this point anyway. No need for you to risk injury. We're just going to go ahead and sit you and focus development. But then I would really like to see a starting lineup of like Kobe, Temple, TBJ, Pat, and Vooch. Get all these young guys that could mean something to your future in there, playing together, getting some chemistry with veterans that know how to play. We've seen Thad is fantastic off the bench, starting games. He doesn't matter where you put Thad. Thad's going to be Thad.
That's a pro's pro.
Exactly. So, and as we've heard, I don't know if you guys have listened to the NBCS Bulls Talk podcast with Thad, talking a little bit about last season and how he almost retired because it was that bad. But he is entirely open as long as a team is being honest with him. Like, hey, man, you can see where we're at this point of the season. We're going to focus development. That'll be the first one to shake her hand and say, thanks for being honest with me. Let's do it. I want these young guys to be great. And I understand they need time and opportunities to do that. And right now might be that time while you don't have Zach. So hopefully we do get a heavy dose of these guys and they get the opportunity to get more touches to where maybe when Zach comes back from what he's seen sitting on the sideline, shit, I can trust that guy. This guy can go get it. And then it makes it easier for everybody. So there is a lot that could be gained even in this shitty situation. And I guess that's the bright light at the end of the tunnel, other than praying for lottery luck.
Well, lottery luck. So let's talk about that for a second, bud. The Bulls odds, as you pointed out in the beginning of the show, that we are now out of the play-in. If the season were to end right now, we're out of the play-in. Per our friends over at tankathon.com,
we're Bulls trading for an all-star, and I'm on Tankathon.
I want to clip that into our new intro once that comes out. I'm going to clip it. The Bulls' top 4 odds jumped from 13.9% to 23.5% here tonight.
We're doubling up. So Did we really lose or did we win?
Right. I mean, it depends on how you look at the glass, half full or half empty. But that's exactly what happened here tonight. And with no end in sight, I mean, listen, obviously we're not playing good basketball and obviously we're not competitive. So a lane needs to be picked now. And you need to figure out what and who you want to be moving forward. I would like to think that this is a part of some grand master plan. I could be wrong, but I'm going to tell you what, after we play Cleveland tomorrow night, we play Boston, we play Cleveland again, then we play Charlotte, 2 in a row at Miami, 1 in New York, against Milwaukee, and against a team that's been a thorn in our side in Atlanta, then Philadelphia. It's going to be another little bit of a rough stretch for the Chicago Bulls. And I'm just
the big names in there actually still scare me because those other teams aren't really that good.
I think they're better than us.
They're better than us. I mean, they're better than us before we lost Zach. So now they might even be like much better than us.
Right.
But
so I mean,
I don't know that they're that much better than the Grizzlies.
My point,
if at all.
My point with all of this is, if you pick a lane now and you choose to go that stealth kind of tanking route with these weird lineups that everybody's upset about and all of that, I mean, maybe the Bulls end up with Vooch, have Zach still, have a guy like Pat Will who they think is going to turn into something really good, and then they pick. That can be a real possibility here.
Yeah, I mean, I might have I might have to change my pants if we had Lonzo Ball, Zach Levine, Jonathan Kuminga, Patrick Williams, and Vucevic. Then we're cooking with something that makes you excited. But this is a pipe dream, and as you said, this is not something that I can assume or even. I'm super conspiracy man over here most of the time, and I can't even tell you. Yeah, I think they wanted to put themselves in a position to potentially double dip with the play-in. I don't think they ever intended on missing the play-in and starting to tank to try to get these odds to keep their pick in the top 4.
Yeah, no, you're probably right. They probably didn't go for that, but this is what's happening. So now they're going to try to figure out how to rectify it.
Put the protection on the pick in. Nobody's going to fucking complain if we get it. So, and that's part of what their job is putting themselves in positions for things. And they grabbed themselves an all-star, and they always left themselves of that fallback of having that lottery protection for the top 4 picks, which are the only picks that are pulled for in the lottery. There is a lot of confusion about that I see on Twitter constantly. Unless the Bulls finish the season starting 5th, they cannot just randomly in the lottery end up 5th. And then we all cry tears of sadness. Unless we start 5th, we're not picking 5th. The lottery is being pulled for the top 4 only. You can only go backwards from where you start if you do not go forwards to the top 4. So I don't know. Maybe we aggressively do push to, increase our percentage like we did tonight, doubling up nearly from 13 to 23. That's not quite double, but still a pretty sexy increase in percentage. I don't know how high that could really get, but play the young guys. Fuck it.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. When it's usually my opinion on it too, and it's been our opinion the last couple seasons we've been doing this. If you're not going to be competitive, whatever talent is there that you think might be there, I'd like to see them play. Like we said, I'd like to see TBJ play. I'd like to see Dotson was on the court tonight. I'd like to see him get a little bit more run at point guard. That's something that I'd like to see. And if we see it, we see it. If we don't, we don't. But that's where I'm at.
If you're the front office right now and you just watched Kobe White do that with Zach Levine out, you want to milk every single drop of that in this current situation, because then Kobe White becomes an asset again come the offseason.
You're 100% right. You're 100% right.
You look what this kid can do. All right. The situation he's currently in here is not fair to him. We cannot offer him the best situation, but look what he could do for you. And then you actually have another asset again, which I can't say that we currently had or have right now. One game doesn't change the perception of Kobe White's full season of inconsistency, but a string of games like this together to finish the season, heck, we might not see Zach come back at all if the Bulls get that dire in the next 5 to 6 plus games that he's out. So play the young guys. It might be what's best for the team and best for the situation, because we need TBJ to become something. We need Kobe to become something. Whether that's for them to be assets or rotational pieces for this team, we need their development.
I agree wholeheartedly. I guess it just kind of gets hard after a while, with the kind of the same. When I think about a greater good, right, I feel better about it. But at the same time, like, the optimism that we kind of had even in the first half of the season
for an all-star,
and then and then at the deadline we trade for an all-star, and then we're here again talking about development and hoping that we're in the top 4 because something's obviously wrong. It's not easy. I mean, it blows. The Bulls are 22-33. They're 11 games under 500. They just fell out of the playoff race, out of the play-in race, really, and that's not where we wanted to be, and that's where we're at right now. So again, like I said, AK, Mark Eversley, Billy, you got to pick a lane and figure out what you're going to do, because obviously this isn't working.
Well, and I mean, in a way, we maybe unintentionally picked both lanes, because we did aggressively try to improve the deadline. We picked an aggressive lane. There's no doubt there. I think they made the right move. I think if you intend on trying to retain Zach Levine, you have to show him that you're willing to make moves like that. You're going to make aggressive plays in attempts to win. So I think you had to do something like that. Now, given the situation, I don't think they told Zach to go out and party after getting his first COVID shot in between that period before he gets his second one, and tell him to end up in the protocol. I doubt that was ever part of the plan. That's an extremely unfortunate thing. We have to hope that Zach's fine. We hear stuff like Jason Tatum takes an inhaler before the games now after being coming down with COVID throughout the season. So there is lingering effects for these athletes that have put themselves at risk for our entertainment. There is long-term effects for them. So hopefully Zach is good. But with that situation comes another situation where maybe we do just increase our odds. We don't really deserve to be in this play. We might not be ready for this play. We can't even get a fucking practice in to implement things. We have 5-minute walkarounds before games of, well, this is what you're doing, this is what you're doing, and you have the veterans trying to call it out on the floor and coach throughout the game. So maybe it's a blessing in disguise. I don't know.
Right. Well, before we leave, everybody will take a question here. Is there any way we could do a Kickstarter to fly Lowry's old coach from Finland, get some whispers in his ear, or maybe just cut Lowry? So if you missed the beginning of the show here, we have basically just stated that we both have basically the same opinion here, that Lowry Markkanen has one foot out the door, and he will not be a Chicago Bull next year. And I don't think his coach from Finland can help him in his the last bit of his tenure here with the Chicago Bulls, which I believe is going to be this season. I do not think Lowry's going to be back. I think that he is just completely mentally checked out, and that comes with how we watched him play tonight. And quite frankly, pretty much the whole season after he started off kind of hot. When he was averaging, 19-7 at one point.
And that's what's crazy. He was averaging 19 and 7 on 40% 3-point. He went out for that injury, and our fan base went on this long, we're better without Lauri Markkanen rant. And Lauri came back. He kind of sucked, and then he traded for Vooch, who makes him completely obsolete because Vooch is a better screener and he provides better spacing, but he's equally kind of deficient on defense. He's a better defender than Lauri, but neither of them are above average. So playing them together is just damn near impossible if you intend on winning basketball games.
Right. And at this point, play them together because I don't want to fucking win any basketball games. I want to keep getting that percentage towards the top 4 up at this point because that's where we're at right now, and try to take advantage and catch lightning in a bottle, trade for an all-star in Vooch, and then get a top 4 pick with our protection on it. So,
and if we win 2 games in a row, we'll be all hyped about the playing it again anyway, all the same.
I will not be, because I think we're going to get fucking stomped. So I'm
That's the realistic course. I'm just being honest. We will get hyped if we start winning too.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's the meatball.
That's the nature of this 4th, 5th tank season, rebuilding season, post Jimmy Butler era. You just ride the wave, man.
The wave has fucking exhausted me. I don't got anything left for this one, man. Before we do leave, though, I will say we do play Cleveland tomorrow. They are 20-35.
Where are we in regards to them in the tank standings? So since I guess those might matter more to us than the play-in standings.
This loss is absolutely crucial.
This loss is absolutely crucial.
Yeah, they need to lose. And I don't care if people get mad at it. They need to lose tomorrow. They just need to keep losing. It's just
because we play the Cavs twice in the next week, correct?
Yes, we do.
Maybe I'm not going to go there. Conspiracy theory man's going to save his thoughts for nighttime.
There we go. Yeah, Bulls on tap after dark. That's what we'll save it for. All right, you got anything else, man?
No.
All righty. Everybody be sure to go on TapSportsNet.com for all your Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs. Following us on Twitter at Bulls on Tap and on Tap Sportsnet. Following Goose at Bulls Scripted, me at Buzz on Tap. Anywhere you can listen to podcasts, you can listen to us, 5-star rating and review, because that's cool and tough. We'll be back tomorrow night after the Bulls play the Cleveland Cavaliers. Let's go Bulls.
I lied.